Alright, so welcome car people back again. Today is day 6 of Goodwood Festival Speed Info. Today we got here some info about Alain Prost, Derek Bell, and a little fun thing that I found out was happening at the time of Goodwood, earlier than Goodwood. So we got here Hall of Famer Alain Prost, and I'm gonna read you a little about his career. So his place in Formula 1 history as one of the sport's greatest drivers is secure. He had lots of conflicts, political controversies, and bad things. He made 51 wins in his career and was 4-time world champion. His biggest enemy was Ayrton Senna, and let's read why. Alain Prost was born on February 24th, 1955 near Saint-Chamond in Loire region, central France. I absolutely love France. Father was doing kitchen furnishing, which is kind of funny, going from kitchen karting to F1. Then we got the Alain, who was a guy with boundless energy, and he made up for any shortcomings he might have for terms of physical height. He threw himself in wrestling, roller skating, and playing football. That he also wanted to be a gym instructor and being pro at soccer. When he was 14, he discovered karting on south of France, and he became obsessed with that he won several karting championships. In 1974, he left school at just 19 to become a full-time racer. He supported himself by tuning engines and becoming a car distributor. His prize for winning the 1975 French Senior Karting Championship was a season at Formula Renault, a category in which he went on to win 2 driving titles before moving to Formula 3. In 1978 and 79, he won both French and European F3 championships, by which time he was on the shopping list of several Formula 1 teams. After carefully considering, he chose to sign with McLaren for the 1980s. But at the time he was on McLaren, he finished in the points 4 times, but also had accidents breaking his wrist, having concussions, and he was worrying, and the crashes were caused by mechanical failures, and Alain also had misgivings about the way the McLaren team was run. So about that, he broke his contract with McLaren and signed with Renault. His first Formula 1 victory came at home, a French driver in a French car in 1981 French Grand Prix at Dijon. If you don't know, Dijon is also a mustard. Alain, the momentous occasion that marked the beginning of his winning ways, was memorably mostly for a change it made in his mindset. Here are his quotes. "Before you thought you could do it, now you know you can." And it's really motivating because you never know if you can make something until you actually do it and see if you can make it. The victories kept coming. He had 9 during his 3 seasons with Renault, but the winner found himself increasingly at the odds with the home team's management, who made him the scapegoat for failing to win a championship, and with the French fans, who much preferred the homely appeal of his mate René Arnoux. Prost had a running void. Fed up with that all, Alain moved with his wife and son to Swiss and went racing again with the British-based McLaren team in 1984. In his 6 seasons with McLaren, Alain Prost won 30 races, which is almost 20 times as much as with the Renault, I think, if I can count that good, and 3 driving titles, and was runner-up twice. In his 1985, he became the first French world champion. In 1986, he became the first back-to-back champion since Jack Brabham, 26 years earlier. If you don't know, Jack Brabham is nowadays a famous supercar manufacturer which makes cars like this. In 1987, his 28th Grand Prix victory beat Jackie Stewart's 14-year record. In 1989, Prost contributed 7 wins to his McLaren Honda team's one-sided mission, total of 50 victories from 16 races. That's insane, having only 1 lose during that. However, his brilliant new teammate Ayrton Senna won 8 races and the driving title. That began the rivalry between Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost. Alain Prost was nicknamed the Professor for his cerebral approach to racing. He needed all his brainpower and driving skills to take on the formidable Senna. Unable to match him in pure speed, the Professor, like his heroes Jackie Stewart and Niki Lauda, managed to hold his own by perfecting an economical style, starting a race conservatively, taking easy on the brakes and tires, and then making a late race challenge. Meanwhile, the Brazilian legend, Ayrton Senna, was purely different. He wanted to go flat out all the time, even in the rain, which Alain Prost hated. So if it will be raining on Goodwood, you know why is Alain Prost angry. So that speed of Ayrton Senna left his French teammate behind in terms of public appeal, which was another contributing factor in what became the most bitter void in Formula One history. McLaren's domination continued throughout 1989, and Prost's Senna struggle for supremacy put them on a collision course. Mutual admiration to all hate. No love, just hate, with the Frenchman accusing Ayrton Senna of dangerous driving and receiving more than fair share of attention from both McLaren. So it ended in a controversial clash in chicane at Suzuka, where Prost deliberately shut the door on Senna and clinched his third driving title, whereupon he promptly stalked off to join his new employers, Ferrari. In his first year with Ferrari, Prost won 5 races and again came to the 1990 season finale in Japan with all his McLaren adversary capable of depriving him of the championship. Senna did just that, taking his second driving title by deliberately driving into the Ferrari at Suzuka. What he did was disgusting, Prost said. He's a man without value. At that time, the driving restrictions weren't that limited, so it was easier to make penalties and don't get any restriction from it. In 1991, Ferrari fell off the pace, and for the first time in 10 years, Alain Prost failed to win a race. He blamed the Italian team for losing the plot, went public with his criticism, and was fired before the end of the season. With no time to find another ride, he took a sabbatical from driving and spent 1992 as a TV commentator, before returning in 1993 with Williams Renault to win 7 more races, bringing his total record 51 wins, and take his 4th driving title. Faced with the prospect of having the hated Senna becoming his Williams teammate, Professor announced his retirement, quoting, "The sport has given me a lot, but I decided the game wasn't worth it anymore." But he hasn't finished yet playing the game. He went back to TV commentating and worked as an advisor and test driver for McLaren before buying the Ligier team in 1997 and renaming to Prost Grand Prix. You might not have heard of this, but it was a very bad team. As it is written here, beset by political and financial problems, the team was an embarrassment for the 4-time champion and it was closed up at the end 2001. Now this was the story of Alain Prost. I hope we can interview him there. Now let's move to Derek Bell. This is Derek Bell, the legend of endurance races and of Porsche endurance cars. Derek Bell has enjoyed one of the most successful divers and wide-ranging racing careers spanning over 40 years of racing. So Derek Bell was racing in lots of cars. The cool cars are Porsche 917, 936, 956, 962, Kreml Porsche K8, which I'll now show on screen, and lots of Ferraris, McLaren F1, and he won podium with his son Justin Bell in 1995. Now, Derek Bell was 5 times Le Mans winner, which was in 1975, 1981, 82, 1986, and 1 year later, 1987, with him being awarded with Drivers Hall of Fame 2013 of 24 hours. He also won 3 times Daytona 24 in 1986, 1987, and 2 years later, 1989, which is very nice, and for American culture, it is very important. He was also 2 times winner of World Sports Car Championship in 1985 and 1986. Here you can see him driving 967, 917, and here's some Porsche. I don't know what that was. Probably 956, here is written. Splitting his time between homes in the UK and US, Derek can still be seen at the world's major automotive and motorsport events. He has never officially stopped racing and still enjoys carrying out demos at historic races. So I'm super excited what he'll bring out to Festival of Speed Goodwood and if I can interview him. Now, last thing I have here is kind of funny thing is that the British Grand Prix is happening 3 days earlier than Festival of Speed, which means that these drivers, including Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, everybody who was signed here, could probably be there and could race on the hill climb, but I am not sure. They could only probably be walking there, talking, doing signing, but probably won't go officially of driving. So this is it for this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to. Make sure to watch the other days and stay carbonized.